Ladies all around the world, listen up. We're looking for you. The time has come to be unstoppable together. The danger of executive women is worrying we're not enough, obsessed with perfection and failing to perform. You're in the right place. It's now time to be unstoppable together with Connie Fife. She was the director of the United States Chamber of Commerce and CEO of Girl Scouts USA. Sit down, squat down, or lie down. It's time for Up or Out, all business with Connie Fife, your unstoppable diva and chair of the Fife Group, helping women in leadership achieve excellence and be unstoppable together.
Well, hey there, it's Connie Fife, your unstoppable diva, and you're listening to Up or Out with Connie. Now, we can be heard on iTunes, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, the C-Suite radio network, over 1,900 global networks in 145 countries. And we are growing every day. So be sure to subscribe with us on iTunes because you don't want to miss any of the good stuff. So are you looking for some advice to move up or out? Well, make sure that you do stay connected with us also on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, which is the Up or Out Network. So jump on over there because every day we're adding that morning business brew, that business boost that's going to help you get going and get motivated. And if there is a topic that you're looking for that you really need to know about how you're going to grow your business, scale yourself in corporate, because again, it's about up or going out, let us know because I love hearing from my listeners. Just send a note over to teamfife@fifegroup.com. So now on to the show. So let's start with today's quote, and you're going to understand this quote as soon as you find out who our guest is for today. The quote is, "Sometimes wine is just necessary." That's wine. W-I-N-E. It's just necessary. So stay tuned. Hang in there. We're going to take a quick sponsor break, and we'll be right back with today's guest. Hi, this is Connie Fife, your unstoppable diva, your host of Up or Out with Connie. I am thrilled to be a headline show on C-Suite Network, where you can grow your brand, grow your tribe, and be unstoppable. We are the hottest podcast for entrepreneurs, C-level executives, and market leaders. And you can hear me each week right here on the C-Suite Network. Also on Conscious Business Network, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, and over 900 stations around the globe. Be sure to follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for listening. Be bold, be connected, and be unstoppable. We're back, and you're listening to Up or Out with Connie. Now it's time to turn up the volume because we have with us an awesome, unstoppable guest. It is my pleasure to introduce the 6th generation Oregonian. Now, all of you that know and have heard from me, I'm from the Appalachian Mountains. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm kind of back mountain prairie girl. And she is a 6th generation doing this. And she's still in Oregon. The family started traveling to Oregon on that 2nd federal wagon train to the territory in 1844. And heck, they've never left. And she is just phenomenal. And I'm going to have her share more about her story in just a minute. But I just want you to know that, when it comes to wine, it's more than just drinking it. It's more than just drinking that wine. And it's really getting to understand it and know it. And she writes about it all the time, every single day. And she's coming right now, right from the winery. And her name is Kerry McDaniel. Am I saying your name right? Boenisch?
Boenisch.
Very close.
Very close.
Boenisch. So Kerry Boenisch. So Kerry, you know what? Let's just jump right into it. And welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you're in Oregon wine country, and you write about it. I mean, look right there behind you. You have all the different flavors of wine. And the photos in your writing and the Pinot Grigio, and it's just amazing. And I was looking at some of your information and what you've done and the evolution of the Oregon wine industry, because of course when people think of wine, they think of France or Italy or Napa Valley, but Oregon, the Oregon wine industry. So I would love you to share more about that and the humble beginnings that you talk about.
Well, the Oregon wine industry really is still, in a lot of ways, in its infancy, and it is evolving, and it has come out of its infancy to be starting out in 1972. There were approximately 50 vineyards and wineries in the state.
Oh, okay.
Fast forward to today, there's approximately 700 in the state. So you can
Wow.
see the trajectory in a very short period of time.
Mhm.
We've gone from a fledgling wine industry to a very viable industry. In fact, one of the biggest economic businesses in the state of Oregon. So,
Wow. Well,
yeah.
and I would have never have known that. I wouldn't. I'm in Southern California. I mean, we have some vineyards here, but it's nothing like what I've seen and experienced with what you have there in Oregon. So you grew up on a vineyard, basically, with your family. You had the winery.
I did. We planted in 1972. My parents moved from a small town in McMinnville. In fact, that's where I'm sitting today at the Wine Archive in McMinnville, Oregon, at Linfield College. More on that later. Also, ironically, the Linfield College campus that I'm sitting on is the home of the International Pinot Noir Conference that happens every year. But long story short, it all started basically with people planting vineyards in the late 60s and the early 70s.
Okay.
We were commercial growers, and my parents had jobs my father had a job during the day. We had a granary in McMinnville. And so he'd go to work during the day, and he would come home at night and get on the tractor and go up and down the rows on the tractor. And so he had two jobs.
Yes.
Many of the people in our neighborhood who were also commercial growers had the same story.
Okay.
And in very, very diverse industries that they were in during the day, engineers, teachers, a very diverse group of people who were united in this idea that good wine, great Pinot Noir could be grown in Oregon. And of course, there was filbert orchards, and Oregon was a viable agricultural state, very productive. So when we came in and started planting these vines in the vineyard and ripping out, old filbert or prune or walnut orchards, there was kind of an outcry from some of the people who had been farming there for a long time. They said, this is a beer drinking state.
Okay.
No one is ever going to drink wine here, and those grapes aren't going to grow.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow.
Right. So I think there was a lot of determination, and it says a lot about that first generation, that first wave of growers and people who established the industry, that they had tenacity, determination, and just pure, they had a lot of guts.
I think it's that generation, so many were, moving across country. And I mean, the millennials are just known for that. Like you said, having the guts, having the perseverance, and not listening to the naysayers of somebody else saying that you can't. And it sounds like your family did exactly that. They just went after it.
Oh, they did. Of course, my father was really stimulated and excited about the industry by a man named David Lett, who was considered basically one of the founders of the Oregon wine industry. And here's his bottle of wine right here.
Oh, okay.
So David Lett showed up on the doorstep of my parents' granary and asked if he could have a place. He was looking for a place to make wine.
Oh.
So, long story short, my dad did give him, rented him a small building in the granary complex that they're still in. The winery is still in it. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and he has become really, and the whole family now, it's in its second generation with his son, Jason Lett, still producing world-class wine.
I mean, that's just an incredible story.
50 years.
That they are still there and producing and continuing to move forward after all this time. Because you really don't hear a lot about that anymore.
No.
You just don't. And growers and people just move on.
They do.
So it's no longer known as the beer drinking state then. It's the Pinot.
It is. No, it is. Well, it is. I mean, we do. Consequently, we have wonderful microbreweries and breweries
Right.
that were established too. So the hops industry is obviously taken off along with the grape industry, but
Right.
it is now a beer and wine drinking
Okay.
state, definitely.
Okay.
And that leads me to a funny story, because this is another person who was a wine industry founder. His name was Charles Corey. He and his wife Shirley. This is a bottle from our basement. He was a family friend, and he also established his vineyard at roughly the same time as the Letts. He ended up having his own brewery as well as the vineyard.
Oh, okay.
Didn't go so well after that. But interestingly enough, he was probably the first person in this modern industry that I could say actually had a vineyard and a brewery.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. But a much more complicated story than that.
I bet.
That's all we're going to touch on for right now.
Okay. So wineries go global, and you talk about that, and you're a writer and you write about wines, and there's investors from France and Australia and, investing since the 1980s. I'm really interested to learn more about that story.
Okay, well, if you look at it in terms of a wave of evolution, there's about 3 distinct phases. The first phase is the one that we were just talking about.
Okay.
So moving on to the second phase, wineries go global, is, well, here we all are with our vineyards, and we're growers, and we have wineries making our tonnage, and growing and maintaining a vineyard is a tremendous amount of work. Okay. So when, as you can imagine, because it's not just about making the wine, you have to actually, tend to the grapes and raise the crop. And so it's very labor intensive. So in the mid 80s, vineyard management groups started coming on the scene. And along with that were foreign investors who were interested in not only farming the grapes, but putting in wineries and maybe even purchasing the vineyard and establishing even bigger operations than were currently happening. So among those notably was from Australia, international investor came in named Brian Crozier, and along with a winemaker at the time named Roland Soul, started a champagne sparkling wine, can't call it champagne, sparkling wine house called Argyle Winery, which is in downtown Dundee and is one of, basically it was the premier sparkling wine house and put Oregon on the map for making Pinot Noir into sparkling wine. And so that was a big deal in our little town of Dundee. We had 2,000 people in the town at the time. Okay. If that, maybe 1,800. And here we have this investor from Australia and this other person saying that they're going to make sparkling wine out of our Pinot Noir. And it was everybody thought, okay, well, we'll just kind of wait and see. Right. Well, I mean, no pun intended, but it was just a smash hit. I mean, wow. It blew everything up and put us on the map. And our little Dundee all of a sudden was being visited by people from all over the world. And it was very exciting. And along with that, at the same time, this is in the mid-'80s, at the same time, a man named Joseph Drouhin, who actually was from a champagne house in France, Domaine Drouhin, Drouhin, he also came. And through a series of people that he knew the Lett family and he started Eyrie and some other things. He purchased a piece of land and started making Domaine Drouhin here, as well as still making it in France. Wow. So now we have somebody up from Australia, we have somebody from France, and we're just thinking, wow, this has really changed the game.
Yeah, you're a global nation.
Well, it was so exciting, and though both of those wineries continue to this day, Argyle and Domaine Drouhin, to be really outstanding wineries who have been tremendous community supporters, and we never look back. Of course, now there's a third wave happening too, which is even more, other investors since then have come in, but now there's a tremendous leap in the amount of people that are getting into the game. So,
is there? Okay.
Yeah, lots of growth.
Yeah.
Because we still have land and stuff
Is
like
that affecting you negatively or positively?
Well, I think what's happening now is what happened to Napa in the late 60s.
Okay.
The evolution of these brands in Napa, when they got purchased, sometimes by the bigger wineries,
Right.
It's difficult to keep the integrity and the charm and the story.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, does
the
the authenticity
authenticity.
go away?
Yeah.
When you have big business buying it.
Yeah. So it's not something that is, it's a difficult thing to transition
Okay.
and not have growing pains.
Right. And the growing pains are always going to come.
Right. So now we have global entities that are very large coming in. This particular wave, this third wave,
right?
Even larger global entities.
Okay.
Most notably, which is one of the biggest ones in the world, the Jackson Family Winery, formerly known as Kendall Jackson.
Okay.
Now it's Jackson Family Winery. They've come in and they've purchased several wineries, and so far they've managed to retain the integrity of those wineries' personalities. So that's been positive.
Okay. That's good.
But it's a delicate dance because you do want to retain the unique charm of each winery.
Yes.
And even though it's growing and you want to produce more wine, I mean, there's a fine line in authenticity versus production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's that integrity that's always a concern. And it's wineries, it's business in general. I mean, we're seeing that explosion of growth. I mean, really around the world, but I mean, specifically in our country where you have big business coming in. I mean, at Girl Scouts, we weren't bought out, but it was all big business affecting our membership and other opportunities. So, that's why we had to take a look at making a change. And, and the concern is always, are we going to keep the integrity of what the organization is, like you said, that small charm,
right?
Especially that you think about when you want to go to a winery, that they're going to have that charm, and it's so because I've been to many wineries.
Yes,
always a joy. But it's but it is that small charm and that connection that you're looking for.
It is, and you want to know that what their authentic story is,
right? Mm-hmm.
So
right. Well, and you write about that. I mean, this is
right. Exactly. I do. That's right. And that's one of the reasons that I did start writing about it. I wrote my story, my original book, Vineyard Memoirs, which is right here.
Okay.
First book that I wrote. And I actually wrote this when I was pregnant with my third child, our daughter.
Okay.
And I thought I knew that I needed to get it done before I had her.
Right.
So literally in the same year, I had a book and a baby. So this was my first book, and that's my dad and I on the front. And those are our Pinot Noir cuttings. And there we are. We're getting ready to plant those in the vineyard in the background.
Okay. I love it. I love it. So,
right.
Book and a baby.
Book and a baby. And it was a challenge.
Plus, you had already 2 little ones in the house, too.
I had 2 little ones, and then we had a third, and I had a book, and it was a very exciting time. And there's, the writing process is I really enjoy the writing process. But it's a process. Yes, it was work.
Right, it's a process. You would fit our definition of a woman who dares.
Right.
We call our group. Yeah, you are definitely a woman who dares. Well, I need to take a quick break right now. We need to recognize another sponsor, and we'll be right back. And then we're going to be putting you in the hot seat.
Excellent.
Are you an entrepreneur looking for more qualified leads? Podcasting is a great way to do that.
The podcast you're listening to right now is produced by Turnkey Podcasts, and we can do the same for you.
Over 100 million people listen to podcasts every month. 85% listen to the entire episode. Interview-based selling is 10 times more effective than traditional marketing campaigns.
Step into the new media space and let podcasting be your marketing, business development, and lead generation tool. Turnkey Podcasts can take you from concept to launch. Instead of taking months, we can help you get there in as little as 30 days. After the launch, we do all of your editing, production, voiceover guy, royalty-free music, The bottom line is we're going to help you generate more qualified leads using podcasting. If you have a podcast already, we can show you how to better monetize it.
Go to turnkeypodcast.com/contact for a free consultation to learn more. turnkeypodcast.com. You need more qualified leads for your business. Let us help you find them.
And we're back, and you're listening to WCONNIE. And joining me today is Kerry McDaniel Boenisch. So, Kerry, let our listeners know how they can learn more about you and what you do, and a little bit more about the wines.
If you want to learn a little bit about me, my website is www.dirtvinewine.com. It's also the name of my business. I do consulting and writing and branding for wineries and businesses in the hospitality industry, hotels, restaurants, sommeliers. And I think it's an exciting thing to be able to share, have people learn how to tell their authentic story about their business or their winery, be able to tell it in a way, which is what I do, help them brand it in a way that really makes it feel like they're conveying their story with their product.
How wonderful. I could just feel that passion that you have of the authenticity.
Yes.
Of, helping people share that with others. So thank you for doing that. So this is time for the hot seat. This is where I'm going to ask you questions about you and to ask you to share with our listeners to help them and to create that motivation so they can step into a place that they want to be living with authenticity. So if
Excellent.
you're ready, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All righty. So we start off easy. What is your favorite quote that keeps you going every day?
The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Anyone can do it. There ain't nothing to it. That's a James Taylor song.
I was like, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing to it. You can do it. I love that.
And then the rest of that is nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill, but might as well enjoy the ride.
So a little James Taylor fan we got here.
We do. Yeah. I guess, being a child of the 70s out in the vineyard, I had a transistor radio. And so I'd listen to, that's what I did.
Some people are saying, what is that?
Right. I don't think they even exist anymore.
Yeah, in antique shops. I actually have some. That's where I found them.
Right.
So did you know you wanted to do right from the very beginning?
Did I know I wanted to write?
Yeah.
Yes. I've been a writer since I was a young girl. I used to write poems for my parents when I was in preschool that they kept.
Oh.
I wrote one called "My Dad is Tall and I Am Small."
A Pulitzer Prize winner.
It was. You can tell. There's exactly. But I really enjoy, growing up on a vineyard was a really authentic experience.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dirt. It's farming, and being the writer in me, I have one of those memories where I just like to observe, and so I write about the things, these pictures in my head of those scenes of sun going down over the vineyard when I was a little girl. And I was so happy that it was the end of the day because I could quit tying the vine. Or, so those are the things that I wrote about, those experiences that were really part of my heart and a part of my soul. And I took those visions, those pictures in my head, they're still with me in my heart, those experiences. Yeah. It was a really powerful experience.
I bet.
And writing is a way to express that.
Yeah. And I was going to say, when you said about the sun going down, I'm thinking, this is how people look at things differently. I'm like, that had to be romantic. And you're like, no, it's the end of the day.
Right. Well, you're working in the vineyard and you're thinking, wow, the sun's going down. That's a good thing.
I can get out of here.
Right. Same with harvest, harvest right now. We're in the middle of harvest.
Yeah, this is harvest season.
Yes. And, which is wonderful and very exciting. And, but it's, those people are working in harvest and those production teams, and they have people come into the wineries. They hire chefs or cooks to cook for the people that are because they don't even want to leave the facility for a minute because they're hard at it. And harvest is you can't even get a hold of anybody in the wine industry during
I
harvest.
bet.
Yeah.
You reminded me, you'll love this. It was about this time of year. Well, I moved to Southern California in October. So I know it was this time of year because my stepdaughter, who lives in Lake Tahoe, had my 2 dogs. And so from here to there, it's like a 7-hour drive, and you have to go through a lot of wineries, depending on which way you're going. So I'm coming back from Lake Tahoe. I ended up, the traffic was really bad, and I'm a small town girl, and I'm like, oh my God, there's all this traffic. So I'm going to get off and take a side road. I like taking side roads. I'll just get on it and go. I don't know where I'm going. And I'm like, okay, I know I'm going south. That's all I need to know. So I get on this road, and I'm driving, and all of a sudden it comes to a traffic stop. And it's just a small country 2-lane road. And I'm thinking, oh, is there an accident? What's going on? Well, it turns out I look around me, and there are just fields and fields and fields of wine vineyards, of vineyards,
Right.
vines, and it was harvest time. And why I was stopped, one of the carriages, the crates carrying the grapes, had flipped over as they were crossing the road to the other side. So you had grapes all over the road.
Yeah.
But what that did for me, it gave me a gift, because I rolled down my windows. Up until then, the windows were up, music was on. I wasn't paying attention to what was around me. I rolled down the windows, and I was like breathing, and I was like, what is that smell? It was like heaven. I go down the road just a bit more. Well, here's a B&B, a bed and breakfast on the side of the road. And I thought, I'm stopping for the night. And I stopped with my 2 dogs. And because when you said about cooking, so I'm in the family room, and a bunch of men and women, they come in, but they're in suits, like police officers, uniforms. And I was like, so I said to someone, I'm like, what's going on around here? And they're like, it's harvest time, ma'am. And these are the inspectors.
Oh, interesting.
They were the inspectors. And we sat there all night being fed, because then the workers started coming in that were staying there, and they were like, taste the wine, here's some grapes. I didn't want to leave.
Why would you?
And my dogs are poodles, so one is 2 pounds, one is 4 pounds. So everybody loved them. I was like, I think I'm just gonna stay here. It was like heaven. I loved it. I loved it. So it was really a diversion. So sometimes we need to stop and smell and look around us. But I always think about that, and I always remember that. And and it was just some time for me, but it was just so romantic. I'm a romantic, I guess. So it was just so romantic being able to stop there, and it was just so pleasing, and everybody is so welcoming. And that's when you say, don't take away that integrity of those vineyards and what they offer the people. I love that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of story. There's a lot of people's determination and families' hard work. And
yes, and I got to meet so many of those people. I mean, it was, moms and dads, the kids. I mean, everybody was out there working. I don't even know how I got a room with all the workers there, but again, it was just one of those things that were meant to be. I needed that. That time with them. It was just beautiful. I loved it. So what was
and sensory experience too, back to that. You talked about the smell. That is a very good point, Connie, because wine is a sensory experience. It's the smell.
Yes.
One of our biggest psychological memory triggers is smell. Right. And I can still smell what crush was like, or what a fresh grape, like you were saying, that fresh grape tastes like. So you have smell and taste, and the senses are heavily mixed into the whole winemaking process.
And that's
the drinking part of it.
And that was everything. It was when I seen like everybody, and then I rolled the window down, and I was like, what is that? It was like, it just drew me in. It was like, I am stopping right here.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was great. It was really, really great. So we're almost out of time, but what words of wisdom do you have to offer? What final thoughts do you have to offer to our listeners to help them keep their integrity and find their path to success.
Well, of course, the famous quote, never, ever, ever give up.
Yeah.
Ever. Anybody can achieve their dream, whatever that dream is, with tenacity. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. And I tell my kids this too. Never confuse getting your dream with thinking that's going to be easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier than other times. But the most important thing is to never give up.
Right.
We're really blessed in the United States to be able to make the choice to really do whatever we want to do. And that's a gift. That's a wonderful thing that we have that freedom. So never give up on your dreams.
Love that. Love that. This is just beautiful, beautiful. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here today. You've been awesome. You've been fabulous.
Thank you.
Kerry Boenisch, everyone. If you want to know about wine, she's a lady to go to. But if you want to know about life, check her out. Give her a call. Just an incredible woman. I just feel so honored that you're here today, Kerry.
Oh, and likewise. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored as well, Connie. What a pleasure.
Thank you. So, well, that's all we got for today. Our time always goes by just so quickly. So be sure to subscribe. Listen to us on iTunes at Up or Out with Connie. And if you need expert advice, looking to move up or out, make sure you come back here each week because we're going to have more phenomenal guests coming up. So if there's a topic you want to hear about with those guests, let me know as well. Just send me a note to teamfife@fifegroup.com. We always want to take care of our listeners. So this is Connie Fife, and it's been great being here with you today. So ask yourself if you can do something different today. What would it be? What would that be? Let us know. So until next time, be bold, be connected, and be unstoppable together.